If you move to Portugal, you can just bring that account from that country to Portugal. So this is very helpful for you to know because you might not have to open a new bank account. You can just move your personal bank account to Portugal. Welcome to Crypto Insights, where we teach you about crypto. A few weeks ago, I uploaded this article about banking in Portugal because if you're new into Portugal, you would be surprised with the amount of banks. You would also like to know which ones are pro crypto, which ones are old fashioned, which ones do help in English, and which one actually have a horrible English customer service. So, this is all from my experience personally, but also professionally. Banking in Portugal. National private retail banks in Portugal. Portugal has many private high street banks that offer a range of current accounts. Some offer student accounts, non resident accounts, as well as joint accounts. Larger banks in more populated cities will often have English speaking staff. This is, in my opinion, it's not very common, but you might find them. Most of the banks have English customer support by phone. Not all of them have the same quality of English customer support. Like from my personal experience, Activo Bank has a really good one, while the Bank Inter and Millennium Bank have a really bad lagging English customer support. And sometimes you call them and they want you to speak in Portuguese. So if you need any help, I can also help you with translating. Banks in Portugal are linked through the multibanco ATM system. This is a very important point because if you want to pay your taxes in Portugal, it's way easier. Every payment to the government happens to the multibanco system. Also, payments that you do online. It's going to be very, very helpful for you if you have one, if you live in Portugal. You can also pay your utility bills, pop up a Portuguese phone number, transfer money to other accounts. You can even buy cinema tickets through this multibanco system. Standard bank hours in Portugal are from 8:30 to 3 o'clock. And after 3 o'clock, they're just doing some internal work, but they're not allowing any customers in. Then you also have some banks that are open in the weekends. I know that Activo Bank has opening hours in the weekend. For a small country in population, Portugal offers a great number of banks. So you have Banco Best, you have Banco BIC, you have Banco BPI, you have Millennium BCP, Activo Bank, Bank Inter, and Novo Banco. Novo Banco is the new bank after Banco Espírito Santo has fallen a few years ago. But from my experience, from these banks, Activo Banco and Novo Banco are the most helpful. Also Banco BPI. I think my experience with Millennium Bank, Bank Inter, are just really bad. And therefore, I wouldn't recommend you to use one of those banks. So, public retail banks in Portugal. Caixa Geral de Depósitos is the state-owned banking corporation. This is Portugal's second largest bank. This is also the bank with the highest security and therefore also quite expensive. So yes, it really depends on what you are looking for. Are you looking for the most secure bank? Then I can really recommend Caixa Geral de Depósitos. You're just gonna have to pay large fees. If you're not really planning to have a lot of funds in Portugal and you just have the funds in Portugal just to survive, then I would use one of the other banks. Then there is also international banks in Portugal that are mostly more helpful in English. So there's a number of multinational banks in Portugal that you can find in large and urban areas. These banks have a comparable opening hours to their Portuguese counterparts. Often they offer a range of expat-friendly services. Here's a list of international banks in Portugal. So here you see the list of international banks. One of the examples that I can give is that if you have a Millennium Bank or you have a Santander Toto Bank or you have a Barclays Bank outside of Portugal, if you move to Portugal, you can just bring that account from that country to Portugal. So this is very helpful for you to know because you might not have to open a new bank account. You can just move your personal bank account to Portugal. Then there is also digital banks in Portugal. So a number of online and mobile banks have emerged in the recent years, allowing customers to open an account and bank using their mobile phones or laptops. These online banks are also supported and accepted by Finanças. Here is a list of digital banks accepted in Portugal. So you have N26, you have Open Bank, and Revolut. Revolut is a really popular bank account. It's so popular that the government allows it that you can use it as your main account towards the Finanças. So if you start a business in Portugal, you can use a Revolut account as your business account. Just be careful, the Revolut account doesn't offer the multi-banco services. Then crypto-friendly banks. There are some banks in Portugal that are known to be crypto-friendly, although their policies and attitudes toward cryptocurrency may vary. Some Portuguese banks have even partnered with cryptocurrency exchanges to provide services to their customers. However, it is important to note that the regulation of cryptocurrencies is still evolving, and there may be some restrictions and uncertainties in the future. Currently, the most crypto-friendly banks in Portugal are Santander Tota, Millennium BCP, Activobank, Novobank, and Bison Bank. Bison Bank especially because Bison Bank is the only bank in Portugal with a crypto license. So I also made a separate video that I would put in the comments below where you can see my analysis on Bison Bank. So open a bank account. Unless you're opening up a non-resident account from overseas, which is a lot more complicated, you'll have to open your Portuguese bank account in person at a local branch. Some banks now have an option of opening it online, although it's usually more associated with digital and mobile banks. If you are from the European Union, you will need the following documentation to open a bank account. So obviously, you need a passport or a valid identification. You need a proof of address, such as a Portuguese utility bill. Actually, your electricity bill is considered officially, so it's an official proof of address. So if you do your electricity bill, that's always good. Then you need the Portugal fiscal number, which is the NIF number. Your working contract or proof why you actually need the Portuguese bank, because you always need to have a reason why you want to open the Portuguese bank, and a proof of funds. So you will have to deposit an amount of money that can vary in between 100 and 250 euros. So as I stated earlier, for non-Europeans, this is a little bit more complicated, and we as Crypto Taxes Portugal, we can help you with that. So feel free to send us an email on visa@cryptotaxesportugal.com, and we will do our best to help you. So this is the end of the video. You now know which banks have better English customer services and which banks are also more pro-crypto. If you have any other questions, mostly specific to your case, feel free to reach out to me. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next week. Bye.